Hello and welcome to Brutal Fighters. This is Mike, and in this episode we're going to show you the most humble and respectful guys inside and outside of the octagon. When you choose a job that allows you to punch and knock out people and make money out of it, it's very normal to turn out to be a cocky person. And it could even get worse if the fighter makes a reputation and makes it to big arenas and sell-out shows. One reason for fighters to trash talk is that trash talk sells, and it's been proved that the most famous and highest paid MMA artists in the world sell their fights with trash talk and arrogance. For example, Conor McGregor does that for all his fights and is one of the highest paid fighters in the business. However, MMA back in the Pride days was based around values of respect and honor, and every single fighter respected these values. The fighters continually respected each other in those days, before and after the fights, and fans sat in their seats in absolute silence without uttering a single boo or cheer until the combat was over. Adesanya wins the fight and shows his respect to Anderson by calling him the best and telling everyone that even in the video game he plays with Anderson, who is the best. Anderson does the same and thanks God and says he loves his job and is thankful to have fought Adesanya. After winning the fight, Khabib says that he will sell his t-shirt and send the money from selling the t-shirt to Dustin Poirier to help with his charity, and adds that MMA is all about respect and not trash talk, and says respect is the most important thing in sports.
Why I wear this t-shirt? I know Dustin do a lot of charity stuff. Guys, make sure I'm gonna sell this t-shirt. All this money I'm gonna send Dustin Poirier. This is what I want, you know.
The preacher's daughter isn't the world's most exciting nickname, but in the case of Holmes, it's highly accurate. We didn't really need another pitbull anyway. Always humble, always open, always seeming just a little puzzled by the notion that anyone would find her remarkable. All Holmes has done is work her way up to the top of women's boxing and now women's MMA. The only fighter who really managed to get GSP angry and make him trash talk was Nick Diaz. But come on, Nick Diaz can do this to anyone. Like Machida, GSP comes from a traditional martial arts background that is heavily based on respect. For some reason though, GSP has attracted throughout his whole career people who disrespected and trash talked him in every possible way. St-pierre has never retaliated though, keeping quiet during media events and always staying humble. The former champion did his talking inside of the octagon. Coming from a traditional karate background, Machida is a firm believer in the values of respect, honor and integrity. After knocking down Munoz with a perfectly placed kick, Machida did not jump on him to get the finish. He simply held him down and waited for the referee to stop the fight. At the end of the fight, after hugging him for several minutes, Machida bought his opponent a dinner that they enjoyed together. Machida is also another competitor who has managed to reach the highest level of competition and become the world champion without talking trash to any of his opponents. Gustafsson shows his respect to Daniel Cormier by hugging him and lifting him off the floor after it is announced that Daniel Cormier is the winner of the fight. Cormier thanks Gustafsson and says that he is the best and he makes him a better fighter, and says Alexander is a warrior, and says he hit me with some good shots and one of his right hooks stopped me from seeing the whole round.
I'm going away from promos and I'm just going to be myself. Thank you, Alexander Gustafsson. You made me a better man and fighter tonight. I will forever be indebted to you and your performance tonight. Alex, thank you. Thank you.
After winning the fight with unanimous decision and becoming the champion, Poirier says that to be the best, you got to beat the best. And he says there was a time in round 3 that I felt I'm losing and the fight is slipping away, but I got myself together and turned it around. But he hit me with some good shots. At the end, Poirier thanks his wife and says she is the one who believed in him when he was down, and if she wasn't there for him, he would have never been here. Tyron wins the fight with a Darce choke and keeps his championship belt. He hugs Darren Till and thanks his coaches and fans, and says that he has more lovers than haters. And he was not surprised that he couldn't make Darren tap earlier in the fight, and says Darren is a very tough fighter. It was Darren's first loss inside the octagon. Darren says that Tyron was the better man, and this loss makes him stronger and he will come back stronger. And congrats Tyron. Middleweight champion of the world George St-Pierre thanks all his fans and viewers and says that this is a dream come true, and says I wanted to prove that MMA is all about techniques. He shows his respect to Michael and calls him the toughest guy he has ever fought, and says Michael is a true example of hard work. Michael Bisping called George the better man and thanks everyone that supported him, especially his wife and coach in UFC, and says George beat me and choked me and he was the champ. After announcing the decision that Anderson Silva has won the fight, Silva drops down to the ground and cries for some time, and then thanks his friends and family and continues to thank Nick Diaz and says Nick Diaz is the great show and he is the best, with amazing kicks and punches and strong mentality, and thanks the audience and fans for supporting the fighters.
What a road back it has been for Anderson Silva and Nick Diaz, sharing the respect.
Poirier and Holloway go the distance.
Amazing fight. You're a good guy. You're the champ. I love you. Thank you.
As the sport grows and gets more popular, just like in any other sports or activity, it moves from its roots. Nowadays, fighters refuse to touch gloves and insult each other, do not shake hands after the fight, and use unlawful strikes inside the cage. MMA followers have also come to be pretty rude and arrogant. They insult opponents over the internet, boo athletes for what they consider a boring performance, and give virtually no credit for the hard work and dedication that athletes put into their art. However, not all fighters have forgotten the values and ideas behind martial arts. Some nonetheless show the traits and attributes of real martial artists, and help grow the sport as well as their very own fan base.